Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Man ahabba liqa Allah, ahabba Allahu liqa'ah. That person who loves to meet Almighty Allah, Allah loves to meet him. وَمَنْ كَرِهَ لِقَاءَ اللَّهِ كَرِهَ اللَّهُ لِقَاءَهُ. And that person who dislikes meeting Almighty Allah, Allah dislikes meeting that person. Sayyidah Aisha, the noble wife of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, inquired, Ya Rasulullah, kulluna nakrahul maut. All of us have a disliking for death. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam explained that at the time of a person's demise, a person is informed of the mercy of Almighty Allah, the pleasure of Almighty Allah, and the Jannah of Almighty Allah. And so at that moment, a person will love to meet Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas a disbeliever and a wretched individual, that person will be informed of the displeasure of Almighty Allah and the punishment of Almighty Allah. So at that moment, a person will dislike meeting Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is meant by Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam in this hadith is that a person loves to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and doesn't love to just live in this world and remain in this world. Yes, we may all have a fear and a concern about the journey itself, the death, which is the journey itself. But a believer loves to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A believer's desire is not to remain in this world forever and never to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now a question that would arise from the statement of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam is whether we as believers should wish for a short life and return to Almighty Allah, or should we wish to live a long life in this world? So there's a few points related to this. Number one is that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam explained, خَيْرُ النَّاسِ مَنْ طَالَ عُمْرُهُ وَحَسُنَ عَمَلُهُ. The best of life for a person is for a person to live a long life in which he's done good deeds. So a long productive life is the best of lives. The worst life is a long life in the disobedience of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a long life in the obedience of Almighty Allah is the best of lives. Sayyidina Talha bin Ubaidillah radiyallahu anhu, a companion of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, had known two brothers. One brother had passed away in the battlefield in the path of Almighty Allah as a martyr. A year later, his brother had passed away of natural causes. After the second brother passed away, Talha radiallahu anhu had a dream in which he was standing at the door of Jannah, and the brother who passed away a year later, who did not pass away as a martyr, had entered into the gardens of paradise before his brother who was martyred in the path of Almighty Allah. Immediately Talha radiallahu anhu narrated this dream to Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained that the brother who lived an extra year fasted one extra Ramadan fast, and he performed salah for an entire year more than that of his brother, and so that is why his status was higher than that of his brother in the gardens of Jannah. He entered into paradise before his brother because he had accumulated more good deeds because of a longer life in this world. So a long productive life is what is desired by a believer. This is what we should wish for, a long life in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second point is Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us not to supplicate for death. Even though a person would love to meet Almighty Allah, a person should not ask for death. So if a person is in a very difficult situation, then at the most he can make the following dua: Allahumma ahyini ma kanatil hayatu khayran li. Oh Allah, you keep me alive for as long as life is good for me. Oh Allah, keep me alive for as long as life is good for me. وَتَوَفَّنِي إِذَا كَانَتِ الْوَفَاةُ خَيْرًا لِي. And oh Allah, when death is better for me, then you grant me death, you take me away from this world. So that is the most that a person can make dua for. We shouldn't be supplicating for death itself. The third important aspect to note is that under the explanation of these statements of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the scholars of hadith explain that the ideal mindset of a believer should be that, oh Allah, you've sent me on a mission to this world. My mission is to worship you and to leave a legacy in this world. I am going to do exactly what you want me to do for as long as you keep me in this world. But when you call me back, oh Allah, I am ready to turn to you. I'm ready to turn back to you. I will not long and wish that I remain in this world. So our objective is not our life in this world, nor is our objective death. Our objective is what is most pleasing to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is referred to as tafweed. Ufawwidu amri ila Allah. I place my matters in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam supplicated and said, Inna salati wa nusuki, my prayers, my sacrifice, wa mahyaya wa mamati, my life and my death, all belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah can use me as He wishes. And the last important point to note is that we should ask of Almighty Allah for barakah, for blessings in our life. So whether we live a short life or whether we are destined to live a long life, oh Allah, you grant me blessings in my life and let me take most benefit from my life in this world. We found people of the past who had lived short lives but left amazing legacies. Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, who is the figurehead of the Shafi'i school of thought, he lived until the age of just 54 years old. One of the other scholars of the Shafi'i school of thought was Imam Nawawi rahimahullah. He has left an amazing legacy in academics, and he had passed away at the age of just 45 years of age. So the crux of the discussion is that we place our matters in the court of Almighty Allah. Oh Allah, you know best whether I should live a short life or whether I should live a long life. All I'm asking from you, O Allah, is let me be productive in my life and grant me barakah, grant me blessings in every moment of my life in this world.